The flagship store of Vivara, a luxury fashion brand known for its sleek silhouettes and inclusive sizing, was nestled on a prestigious street in downtown Chicago. The interior gleamed with polished marble, gold accents, and seasonal designs arranged in minimalist perfection. It wasn't just a store, it was a statement of elegance and success, carefully curated to reflect the ethos of the brand. Bold, modern, and unapologetically refined. On a crisp Thursday morning, Zara Bennett stepped through its towering glass doors. She wore a tailored beige pantsuit with a silk blouse and flats. Not flashy, but effortlessly elegant. Her natural curls framed her face with quiet confidence. Zara, a black woman in her early 40s, had the serene posture of someone used to commanding boardrooms, not asking for permission in boutiques. She carried no assistants, no designer bags, and no entourage. Just a notepad, a phone, and a quiet air of purpose. It was her store, and her brand. As founder and CEO of Vivara, Zara had built the company from a small e-commerce boutique into an international fashion house. She was in town to review in-person customer experience ahead of a major investor pitch. But instead of announcing herself or scheduling a formal walkthrough, she decided to visit unannounced, just another shopper. It was something she did often. Observing the business from ground level reminded her of where it began, and sometimes revealed where things needed to improve. She began browsing the latest collection, rich textures, bold jewel tones, and cuts tailored to all body shapes. As she picked up a blazer from the rack, a white sales associate in her late 20s named Lindsay approached. "Hi there," Lindsay said, her tone bright but clipped. "Just so you know, our prices are on the higher end. If you're looking for discounts, we do have an outlet store in Schaumburg that might be more in your range." Zara blinked. "I wasn't looking for discounts." "Oh," Lindsay said, glancing down at Zara's flats. "Okay, just figured, you know, some people are surprised." Zara said nothing. Instead, she looked Lindsay in the eye and said, "Do you treat all your customers this way?" Lindsay hesitated. I just try to be helpful. We get a lot of people who browse and then say things are out of their budget." "Helpful," Zara echoed. She placed the blazer back on the rack and continued browsing, ignoring the tension that now filled the air. Moments later, another associate, Javier, recognized her from a company-wide meeting streamed months earlier. His eyes widened slightly and he whispered to a colleague, "That's Zara Bennett. That's the CEO." Word traveled quickly. The store manager emerged from the back, her face flushing as she approached. "Miss Bennett, I didn't know you were visiting today." "Welcome," she said, her tone suddenly reverent. Zara smiled slightly. "Seems like not many people know what I look like, which is fine, but I do expect them to know how to treat people with respect." The manager's smile faltered. Lindsay stood frozen nearby, pale and silent. Zara turned to her. "You assumed, didn't you, that I couldn't afford this store? That I didn't belong in a space I created?" "I'm so sorry," Lindsay said, flustered. "I didn't mean—" Zara raised a hand. "Intent doesn't erase impact. You don't know someone's story by their shoes or their skin." There was an awkward silence. Zara nodded to the manager. "I'll continue my visit now, and I'd like a report next week on your staff's inclusion training." "Yes, ma'am," the manager replied quickly. Later that afternoon, in a private meeting with regional leaders, Zara spoke about the incident. "This isn't about shaming anyone," she said, "but if our brand claims to be inclusive, that has to live in the showroom, not just the marketing. Fashion isn't just for the few. That's why I built this, to rewrite the narrative. That means every associate, every store, every fitting room must reflect that mission. If a woman like me can't feel welcomed in her own store, what message does that send to everyone else?" By the end of the month, Vivara launched a new internal program, Every Thread Matters, a company-wide initiative focused on bias training, listening sessions, and accountability at every level of customer service. As for Lindsay, she stayed with the company, but after a long conversation with Zara and weeks of reflection, she became one of the most vocal advocates for the training program. Sometimes the greatest change comes not from perfection, but from being willing to learn, even when it's uncomfortable. Zara never stopped visiting her stores anonymously, but from that day forward, Her presence lingered not just in the stitching of the garments, but in the culture of the company she built, where everyone, no matter their budget or their background, would be met with dignity.